Hi everybody, this is Tracye Thompson again, out and about with Tracye Thompson. Well, today I decided to stop in my office and speak with our shorts representative, which is Jen. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Jen.
And while we're here and what we're going to talk about is all this rainy weather. We know when rain comes, water finds a way to create a problem. Water can be a big situation for everybody. You know, I call around, check on my clients, and I found about maybe one or two that was having some water issues. But Jen is going to explain a little bit of what we can do to try to help ourselves out. You know, right now, a lot of us got away. We didn't have the problem that they had there in North Carolina, but it might be a nice time for us to stop, review our policies, and see what we do have and see how we could be able to help ourselves and maybe move ourselves in a better position. So Jen, what can you tell us about all this rainy weather?
Well, there has been a lot of it. So, like you said, they had some major problems and still have major problems down in the Carolinas. Mm-hmm. That is what most people think of when you hear the word flood.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be that crazy for it to be considered flood on the insurance end. So basically, for it to be considered flood, it's outside water getting inside your house. That could be an overflowing river or a lake or just a lot of rain. So somehow if it rains so much that the water gets into your home, that's considered flood. In Fredericksburg, we had some cases where there was so much rain, it wasn't due to a sump pump failure, it was just due to excessive rain, got into the home, caused a lot of damage. That's considered flood. Homeowners insurance doesn't cover that.
It does not.
No. That's considered flood. Once it's deemed flood, it has to be insured, in most cases, on flood policy. Now, that being said, we do have a company that offers limited inland flood, which covers up to $50,000. You can purchase it. It's an extra add-on, an endorsement that gives people, coverage for flood. But in general, to have more than that, to cover the entire home, you have to get a flood policy. Those are all done through FEMA. We do those. The premium is the same no matter where you go when it's for flood insurance. Because it's all done through the government.
Is that very expensive, this add-on?
It can be. If you don't have flood insurance, it probably means you're in a preferred zone, which is usually a zone X. Everybody's in a flood zone, but if you're in a preferred zone, you don't have to have it, but that doesn't mean that you don't have the chance of having flood damage. Usually if you were to voluntarily get a flood policy, and if you obtain the maximum amount of coverage, which is $250,000 on your home, that also provides you $100,000 for contents. The premium is $499. You can also buy smaller increments of coverage. If you wanted to just cover $75,000 for your home, it's going to be less money. It's a good idea for everybody to have flood insurance because
maybe just a little something.
Yeah. I mean, especially with the way that the weather is, I don't think it's going to get better because the more we develop, the less places the water has to go. So it's going places that it hasn't. And, flood zones change all the time. So where you may not be in a flood zone today, they keep developing and building neighborhoods, you might be in a flood zone next year,
So I guess the suggestion thing to do would probably just get your policy out and see what you have. My understanding, some policies sometimes tack on little riders of a little bit of help with water. Yes. Like if it's a plumbing problem,
right?
How does that work? Like, just say it was a plumbing or sewer problem inside, that could create a flood too. What do we call that?
Right. So those types of things, it all depends on why the water got in the home or why the water did damage. So if it's like an overflowing appliance, that's considered an insurance water damage. Most cases that's covered, you don't have to add extra coverage. Now if the water damage is a result of an off-site blockage through the plumbing and there's sewage backing up into your house, that's excluded under homeowners insurance. Most agents add it back on, but I see a lot of policies and quotes that have it, but it's like maybe $10,000. That can be a major problem because it's a biohazard. Your home can be condemned because of it. So we always add it on to the limit of the policy, meaning whatever the coverage A for your home is, that's the coverage. So if your home was condemned due to sewage, it's covered. And it's usually a $250 deductible. Excuse me, frozen pipes is another issue that's covered by insurance. Again, in most cases, we're on a homeowner's policy.
So let me ask a question. Sometimes when we have insurance policies, the policies sometimes just cover, like say it was a piping problem. They may come in and fix the pipe, but the damage that the pipe caused, who fixed that? Who's responsible for that?
The damage that is a result of that, that's what the homeowner's insurance is gonna cover. They're not gonna fix the pipe or necessarily fix the washer that leaked everywhere or the dishwasher. It's going to cover the damage that was a result of that incident or that event.
And I think a lot of times people don't know that that homeowner policy would cover that. I think
Right.
sometimes they expect the warranty to cover that when it doesn't.
Right.
So I think that's a little bit of good information right there. So the suggestion from actually having a conversation with Jen is that perhaps now that we don't have any problems going on, that we might want to pull out our policies, look at them, see what we have, and just move ourselves in a better position. That's what I think would be a good thing.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
It's a good time right now. There's no impending storms that are making the binding restrictions that we had a couple weeks ago where we couldn't do anything because of the hurricane that was coming. So it's a good time just to look at your current policy, shop around. Another cause of water damage is when it seeps in through the foundation and you have, water damage in the basement. That's not covered under homeowner's insurance unless your company offers that endorsement, and most companies don't. We have two companies that offer that as an endorsement, so it'll give you some coverage. But definitely look at your current policy, shop around.
But I think when you're buying a house, I don't think you really kind of just think about the fact that, if water could seep in through your basement. I don't think that comes to top of mind. So I think that's where you have a good insurance agent that will look at your stuff and then just go over it and make sure that those type of things are covered. But I can tell you what, for all my clients that are out there, Jen works here with us. Feel free to give her a call. You can give me a call and I'll get you in touch with Jen and she can review your policy. In some instances, we find out that Jen is able to provide a cheaper policy, a less expensive policy for you, but with more coverage, and to make sure that you have all the coverage that you need just in case we get hit with a hurricane or tornado or something, so that we can be covered here. We're always here for you, looking out for you. All right, so I'll see you next time. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.